The desert stretched endlessly beneath a golden sky, its silence broken only by the whisper of the wind sliding across the sand and the occasional call of a distant bird. In this quiet world, a small girl named Emily, no more than 5 years old, wandered with her parents, who had come to visit the vast plains for the first time. She carried in her tiny hands her most treasured possession, a soft, worn teddy bear whose seams told stories of countless hugs and adventures, while her parents set up a simple resting spot nearby. This child was from a nearby native community, her dark braided hair glistening in the sunlight, her tan robe dusted with sand, and her blue blanket wrapped loosely around her. Emily froze for a moment, unsure what to do, but her innocent heart would not allow her to walk away. Slowly, she approached the crying girl, her bare feet sinking softly into the sand, her teddy bear clutched tightly. She crouched down in front of the child and waited, watching as the sobs gradually calmed. Then, with all the sincerity her little heart could muster, Emily extended her arms and offered the teddy bear. The native girl lifted her head, her tearful eyes widening in surprise. For a moment, she hesitated, her small hands trembling as they hovered above the toy. She had never received a gift from a stranger before, let alone something as precious as this soft bear. Emily smiled gently, as though encouraging her to take it, and at last the girl reached forward, her fingers curling carefully around the toy, as if afraid it might vanish. The moment the bear rested in her arms, her tears slowed, and a fragile smile began to bloom on her face. Behind them, unseen by Emily, several elders of the girl's tribe stood at a distance, watching quietly. They exchanged thoughtful glances, their weathered eyes recognizing the rare purity of such a gesture, one child bridging a gap between two worlds with nothing more than kindness. Emily's parents called her softly from afar, but she lingered just a moment longer, watching the girl clutch the teddy bear tightly to her chest, as though it were a treasure beyond price. Neither child spoke a word, but in that silence something greater than language was shared, a promise of friendship, a seed of understanding. Emily turned back to her family, her small heart lighter than the desert wind, unaware that this simple act of giving would ripple through the days to come in ways she could not yet imagine. That night, as the desert sky turned into a canvas of endless stars, Emily lay close to her parents inside their modest tent, but her mind was far from sleep. She kept picturing the little girl's face, the way her tears had faded into a shy smile, the moment the teddy bear found a new home. For Emily, that bear had been more than a toy. It had been her comfort in every storm, her companion in every lonely night. Yet giving it away had not left her empty. Instead, her heart felt strangely full, as though she had discovered something far greater than keeping the bear for herself. She whispered to her mother about the girl she had met, her small voice carrying a mix of concern and wonder. But her parents only smiled, gently telling her she had done something very kind. Outside the tent, however, the desert was not asleep. The native elders who had witnessed the scene earlier had returned to their camp and spoken quietly around their fire, their voices heavy with respect. They were wise enough to know that gifts from children come without agenda, without expectation of return, and that such acts are sacred because they reveal the soul of a family more than any words ever could. Emily skipped about in the sand, still humming little songs to herself, but her thoughts kept circling back to the girl. Would she play with the bear? Would she hug it the way Emily had hugged it every night? These innocent questions filled her heart with a quiet joy, though she never expected to see the girl again. Yet far away, plans were already unfolding, not because they felt obliged, but because honor demanded recognition of true kindness. Their traditions valued gratitude, and in their eyes, the family of this small child had shown a spirit worthy of acknowledgement. That day passed peacefully for Emily's family, filled with simple explorations of the desert's beauty. But hidden beneath the ordinary rhythm of their journey was the stirring of something extraordinary. The elders, carrying their wisdom like the weight of mountains, prepared a gift that carried not just material worth, but the blessings of their people. Emily, blissfully unaware, held her parents' hands as they watched the sunset together, the sky painted in hues of fire and gold. She did not know that tomorrow, her small act of compassion would return to her in a way that would forever shape how her family remembered this journey. For now, she was just a child who had shared a toy bud in the heart of the desert. The story of her kindness was already growing into something much greater. The desert morning rose in gentle silence. Emily's family was preparing to pack up their things, ready to continue their journey, when the stillness shifted. From beyond the curve of the dunes, figures emerged, their robes flowing like ripples of the earth itself. Emily's parents paused, startled at first, but quickly realized these were the native elders of the land, their faces etched with lines of time and wisdom. They did not come hurriedly. Their steps were measured, their presence calm yet powerful, as though the desert itself bowed to their approach. Among the elders was the little girl from yesterday, still clutching the teddy bear tightly against her chest, her eyes brighter now, her expression free of tears. She smiled when she saw Emily, and that smile alone felt like the morning sun breaking through clouds. The elders stopped before Emily's family, and for a moment, silence wrapped around them all, thick with meaning. Then, one of the elders stepped forward, carrying something carefully wrapped in a blanket of deep-woven patterns. His voice was steady, like the wind brushing through stone, as he explained that they had come to honor the kindness their people had witnessed. With slow, deliberate movement, holding not only material value but the essence of their gratitude. It was a carved figure of a horse made from desert wood, polished smooth and adorned with symbols passed down through generations. Emily's father accepted it with both hands, bowing slightly, his voice trembling as he thanked them for such an honor. Emily's mother touched her daughter's hair and whispered how her small act of giving had brought this moment to life. Emily, not fully understanding the weight of what had just happened, only felt a bubbling joy in her chest, as though the whole desert was smiling with her. The little native girl stepped forward, hugging the teddy bear with one arm and reaching out her free hand to Emily. Without hesitation, Emily took it, and the two children stood together. The elders nodded in quiet approval, for they knew that this was how bridges between worlds were built, not through grand gestures of power, but through the innocence of children who gave without asking. The sun climbed higher, painting everything in gold, and Emily's family knew that this day would forever be etched in their memories. They were not just travelers anymore. They had become part of a story larger than themselves. Emily, still holding the other girl's hand, beamed with the simple joy of friendship, unaware that her small heart had carried the power to open doors that generations of adults sometimes struggled to unlock. The sun had barely risen when Emily woke the next morning, her small hands brushing against the wooden horse that now rested near her family's belongings. Though carved from simple desert wood, it carried with it a weight far beyond its shape. It was not just a gift, but a story, a message that kindness is never forgotten. Emily's parents spoke quietly as they admired the craftsmanship, tracing the lines and symbols carved into its surface. Her father said it must have taken days, perhaps weeks, to make something so detailed, and her mother whispered that no material price could compare to the honor behind it. Emily, sitting cross-legged in the sand, looked between her parents and the figure, her mind still wrapping itself around the idea that her small teddy bear had somehow led to this moment. She did not think herself special. She had only done what her heart told her to do. And yet here was proof that small actions could echo into something far greater. Later that morning, the same elders who had visited the day before returned, though this time they came not only with the little girl but with more members of their community, men and women whose faces were marked with the wisdom of desert life. Emily's parents, though cautious at first, felt the sincerity in their approach and greeted them warmly. The children were quick to find each other, Emily running to meet the girl, who now clutched the teddy bear as if it were a shield of happiness. The two of them laughed together, despite not sharing a language, inventing games in the sand and chasing each other's shadows. The elders watched this with silent approval, for in their culture, the laughter of children was the purest blessing. Conversations soon followed, halting at first, but aided by gestures and the occasional words understood between the two groups. Emily's father learned that the horse carving was not just a gift but a symbol of trust, meant to show that Emily's family was now regarded as friends of the tribe. Her mother's eyes softened at this, realizing that what had begun with a toy had grown into something powerful enough to connect entire families. There was a sense of closeness, of invisible threads weaving two worlds together. And Emily felt herself at the center of it, not by choice, but by the simple truth of kindness given without expectation. She had not just shared a toy. She had opened a door that none of them had realized was waiting to be found.